There's one other important trend that you can tell, or characteristic you can tell about an element or an atom just by looking at the periodic table, and that is the size of the atom. Okay, so the size of an atom as you go down is going to increase. So size increases as you move down the periods. Now this should make a ton of sense to you, right? Because this only has one electron shell. This one has got 7, right? So it's got 7 going all the way around. So you know that this size is going to be bigger. Size also decreases as you move across the periodic table. And as we'll talk about more next week, the reason is because we're actually going to be adding electrons, which is going to be attracted as we move across. We add more electrons, which is going to be attracted to the protons that are in the nucleus. And it, opposites attract, so it's going to actually pull everything a little bit closer and tighter together because of that attraction. So as you move across, the size is actually going to decrease. So you can tell the size of an atom just based on where it is on the periodic table. So for instance, on a test, if I said, is this atom bigger than this atom? Well, you'd say, well, as you go across, the size decreases. So this one has to be smaller than this one. If I said, is this atom smaller than this atom? Well, you know that this, as you go down, right, it gets bigger. So you would say, yes, this atom is smaller and this one is larger. And there are test questions like that. So just from the periodic table, we learn how many protons there are, right? And that's just looking at the atomic number. We know that they're arranged from left to right. So 1 proton, 2 protons, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. We know how many electrons there are, right, based on the number of protons. We know how many electron shells there are based on the period number. 1 shell, 2 shell, 3 shells, 4, 5, 6, 7. We know we can get a general idea about some characteristics because metals are going to be shiny and conduct electricity. Metalloids are going to be kind of half metal, half not metal, and then the nonmetals are going to be dull and non-conductive. We know that there are characteristics and groupings, subgroupings of metals, subgroupings of the nonmetals. Halogens is a subgroup, and noble gases are the most stable of all of the elements because they have a full set of valence electrons. So they have 8 valence electrons, which we know from looking up here at these numbers. So this group has 7 valence electrons, this group has 6 valence electrons, this one has 5. And this will kind of make a little bit more sense, like I said, next week when we start talking about how does an element decide if it's going to give up an electron, pick up an electron, or share an electron. And that's all going to be based on the number of these valence electrons, and you're going to be able to use these patterns to help you see and know, hey, oxygen is going to, pick up 2 electrons, right? Over here, lithium is going to give up an electron. So we're going to be able to revisit this a little bit. But these are basic trends on the periodic table. If you have questions, please don't hesitate to ask. Have a great week.